I would like to introduce the speakers of our event, the team behind Aava Minerals. Mr. Behram Mehta is the founder, owner, and director of Aava Natural Mineral Water. He is a graduate of HL and worked with Godrej prior to starting his own business. He started his career by selling granite tiles out of his garage, eventually opening his own granite quarry in Gujarat, and soon went on to build Aava, which holds 40% market share in India's natural mineral water category. Mr. Sheroy Mehta is the managing director at Aava Natural Mineral Water. After completing his engineering from DAIICT, he went on to pursue his MBA from the prestigious IIMA. Mr. Sheroy has been working at Aava for the last 11 years and has seen the company grow threefold since 2011 under his guidance and expertise in the natural mineral water and premium beverage market in Aava. Avanti Mehta is India's youngest certified water sommelier and brand lead at Aava. Avanti's diverse professional background in advertising, e-commerce, and journalism, coupled with her academic credentials, underscores her entrepreneurial mindset and ability to navigate various industries, believing that caring for what we consume translates into caring for the planet, showcasing her entrepreneurial leadership in fostering entrepreneurial environmental stewardship. With more than 1,000 HORECA clients, 200 plus five-star hotels serviced, and over 650 million bottles sold, Aava is the preferred water partner for some of the biggest brands in the business. With more than 3 lakh bottles sold per day, Aava has a huge pan-India footprint. In 2019, in line with its environmental ethos, Aava embarked on a bold journey to become a genuinely carbon-neutral company. And as of 2020, the ethos of Aava has always been green. Aava has achieved a 100% recycling rate, and it aims to be a plastic-neutral water brand. With this, Aava houses numerous international and national honors, including the Bottled Water World Awards in 2007 for its iconic packaging and 2 gold stars in the Superior Taste Award at the International Taste and Quality Institute 2017 in Brussels, along with the Power Brand Award in Las Vegas. Before we move ahead, we would like to play a video which would give you a gist about the brand.
Water is one of nature's essential gifts to us. But is all bottled water truly mineral water? This is the story of Aava Alkaline Natural Mineral Water. It begins in the Aravallis, the world's oldest mountain range, from where Aava originates. This source has been certified by the best hydrogeologists and water authorities from around the world. Drop by drop, Aava trickles down from the catchment area and makes a 89-kilometer journey to a confined natural aquifer below our bottling facility. On this 20-year journey, each drop is naturally filtered through layers of rocks, clay, and alluvium. The confined stratum protects the water from pollution and enriches Aava with naturally occurring citrate minerals and electrolytes like calcium, magnesium, and bicarbonates. These minerals make Aava naturally alkaline with a pH of 8+. This natural alkalinity has tremendous health benefits, from boosting immunity, increasing longevity, reducing acidity, to helping you detox naturally. It also lends Aava its originally sweet and distinct taste without needing any artificial additives. Even the slightest touch of hand can undo nature's work of 20 years. Our fully automated pharma-grade form, fill, seal technology ensures purity and an unaltered mineral composition in every sip. We take great pride in our protected bottling environment and ecosystem, which adheres to the toughest international certification standards. Aava goes through step-by-step absolute sterile filtration, which ensures all turbidity, suspended solids, and bacteria, if any, are removed before bottling. To ensure 100% purity, we produce all our bottles at our in-house automatic blow molding facility. Our sterile clean room technology is equipped with an automatic filling, sealing, capping, and packaging system that's untouched by human hands at all points. Every bottle of Aava saves approximately 3 liters of water since there is zero water rejection. Because Aava is naturally alkaline, innately pure, and mineral rich, it needs no harmful water rejection or purification processes. We recycle more PET bottles than we produce, which is why today Aava is plastic neutral. Come 2020, we welcome the newest addition to the Aava family, Aava Still in Glass. Specially designed to reflect Aava's beautiful ecosystem that's wholly homegrown, natural, and indigenous. We take great pride that not a single drop of Aava is ever rejected or wasted through this entire journey. Our confined aquifer is constantly recharged through check dams and recharge wells. With our zero waste bottling technologies and our 100% plastic neutral product range, we try to make the world a little bit greener with all that we do. So whether you are hydrating at 40,000 feet or sipping on nature's sweet taste of purity at home, every time you choose Aava, you make a choice for better health, a choice to save water, and a choice that will lead to a sustainable future. This is what makes Aava India's preferred alkaline natural mineral water. Aava, true to nature, true to you.
Okay, first of all, thank you for accepting our invite and addressing our students here. It's been a pleasure to have you all here. The idea behind starting this series has always been with the idea that most of our students come from family business backgrounds. And there has always been this concern of how do we transition and move into our family businesses, which has already been run well by one or maybe more generations. So we thought, why not have successfully run family business owners come talk to our students and tell us of how this transition actually works. I'll start with Behram bhai first. And so we would first want to know that, how is it that you coined the idea of Aava, the Aava story as to how is it that you saw that there is potential or an opportunity that the market has and you got into this business?
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here and delighted to be here because I studied here in HL Commerce. And most importantly, HL did lay the roots of my entrepreneurial journey because I studied BBA here. And I truly believe that whatever HL Commerce, DDT, HDT, and all the learned professors taught us in our BCom was as good as any management study that I would have undertaken. So when you are in such, at that time, HL was perhaps the second or third best commerce college of India. So we were always coming from a business family, also being trained in such a fashion that doing your own business was always ingrained in us. Because I truly believed that we are a business family because my grandfather had set up a lime motor business in 1915, and which was perhaps the finest local brand that I have seen in terms of construction industry, because to build all, even the HL Commerce College was built from our own line. So anyway, The reason that I started Aava was that I always wanted to do a business. First, we went to Godrej and Company for 2-3 years of learning as a sales marketing executive. Then uh, the first opportunity I got was about doing my granite business, because granite was a fashionable stone then. So I used to make granite tiles in my own garage and went on to export them to United States of America and other countries. Precision tiles, granite tiles, black granite. But since we were importing the granite from Rajasthan and South India, decided to set up our own mines, where the government of Gujarat helped a lot. Had a full range of granites from Gujarat, went to many international exhibitions to promote it, which I must fairly say could not really establish it then, but now all those stones have become very famous and all those mines are doing very well, albeit with other people. Uh, and finally, during my uh, granite mining journey, we discovered Aava, which was as pure as God's own water, and hit upon the idea that if they have such a great resource, we must bottle it and sell it as natural mineral water, because in India, like everywhere in the world, there were two types of licenses available. One was for packaged natural mineral water, which is Aava, and the second was packaged drinking water, which is the RO purified stuff with ozonation and this. So at that time, we had a huge incubation period of 2 years while we built our plant, where we had to go through seasonal testing of 8 seasons before our water was certified as a truly natural mineral water, which passes all the parameters and tests. And on 19th October 2005, Honorable Prime Minister was the CM of Gujarat then, launched Aava. We have never looked back since, but to answer the question now directly, we were always a business family. I was always entrepreneurially inclined, and hence setting up Aava did not came naturally to me. It was, of course, a hard journey, but nevertheless, it came naturally because that's what Gujarati ethos teaches us also. So all that together made me attempt Aava, which succeeded.
So, I mean, you have seen a successful entrepreneur in your father, both of you. My question to you is, as young kids, probably of their age then, how did you see him as the entrepreneur? I mean, how did that inspire you? And what was your perception of Aava at that point in time? Because, you were all young and probably then looking at starting your careers eventually and so on.
Uh, so after completing my BTech at DIICT, I joined MICA for 3 to 4 months. And I was determined that in post-graduation, I'm definitely going to study, because undergraduation was this new phase of life for me. I had gone to a hostel after studying for 12 years from home. So it was a different experience and I'm very glad for it. But post-graduation was something that I really wanted to pursue seriously, and I was very weak in certain sections, like I was always interested in finance. So I decided that I will study here, and MICA was a different college and I truly didn't enjoy it. So I stopped going there. And at that time, I decided that since I have completed my BTech and I've truly uh, explored the option of going to university, and never had a opportunity to think about life before that. At that moment of time, I took the decision of starting to go to my dad's factory, because it was dad's factory then. And I started slowly going there. The company was already set up. It was running well. My father had managed to get a equity investment in 2009 at a very lovely valuation. And Aava was a good brand, and people were they knew about Aava very well, and it was respected in Gujarat and Maharashtra a lot. So I used to see, I mean, growing up, dad was always, he still works harder than me. He's different generation of entrepreneur who started from scratch and they just go on. They're very inspirational people. But growing up, I truly saw very little of him because he was always putting in the hours, working hard, and trying to develop the business. So to work with him was a very new experience because I saw a different side of my father when he was at work. He was a totally different person with his team, with his staff, and I never ever felt like a son to him in the office. I still call him sir when I am in office because that's how things have to work when you're working in a organization with someone. And truthfully, I think Avanti's transition would have been smoother because we had a different kind of organization when she joined. Mine was more, let me say, force fitted in, like Sheroy joins, and there is no real transition, so as to speak. You have to learn the ropes by yourself. It's very fascinating and it's very inspirational to have a family member or a senior person in your organization who works with the kind of integrity and the kind of intensity that Behram works with. And I just hope that, all of you are privileged enough to have someone like that in your life who can uh, sort you out and also help you to back you to grow in your careers. But coming to that, at the time when I joined, Aava was a little smaller than we are today. We were a smaller organization in terms of people, in terms of value, and I know everything about the company, which I'm very happy because I learnt about it from the production line to the sales and now to managing the entire operations. It's been a journey where I've also have a hand in laying the bricks. So it was early years for us. 2005 to 2011 was 6 years. This next year we'll complete 20. So I've also been part of the Aava journey for a really long time now. And it was, I truly didn't think much before joining my father's business because I thought that, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to drop a year. If I've quit college, I've quit college. And the conversation with him was also that they're teaching me communication theory from a book. I'm not going to study that. So he's like, what do you want to do? I said, I don't want to study right now here. So he said, come home. So I went home. That's how the conversation for leaving university also happened. It wasn't like, oh God, what will happen and all that. He was pretty cool about it. So I guess I owe that to him too. And the way he sort of took it in his stride and, accommodated me was quite good. And I feel that sometimes you don't think much. In hindsight, it was a great decision. I joined at the right time. And thank God, I was ready we were prepared for COVID because Avanti was also there with us. And now I'll give it to Avanti because will have a totally different take on things from what I had.
Um, so I was 13 when my father launched Aava, and at that point in time, Aava was the third sibling because that was my dad's third baby. That's how he looked at it. That's how passionate he is about it. And when I was 13, I decided that I want to work in fashion and journalism and humanities. I don't want to be an entrepreneur. I'm very happy working a job. And that's exactly what I worked towards. From the age of 13 to 28, I devoted all my time to pursuing my dreams and my passions. That saw me going to London to study humanities, do my master's, move to Bombay, work in advertising, work in ad agencies. All this while, I knew somewhere the value that Aava had, because we were doing Lakme Fashion Week and people were drinking Aava, and then I would like be drinking it, and then somebody said something that mere ko ye pani ka taste nahi pasand hai, and I laughed. And they were like, why are you laughing? So I said, I own the brand. And they are like, why are you here? Like, why are you doing this? Like, why aren't you doing water? And I was like, I don't care for it. It's something that my family does. I'm happy to kind of always support them in what they do, but this is not something that I want to do. Being in advertising, all of us have grown up in the generation of social media. We get all our information from there, so we think we're very woke. So my transition actually into Aava happened when during COVID, I moved back home. I had just decided that I quit my advertising job. Before that, I used to do social media for Aava because I used to work this job and I used to always say, everyone has social media. Why don't you all have it? And they were like, we don't have anyone to do it, so you can do it. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. And it was like a time sort of thing on the side that I always did. Come COVID, and that was also at one point in time that India was planning a blanket plastic ban on 200 ml PET bottles. Now, I saw my house atmosphere become very tense, and me being the millennial that I am in the age of social media, I was like, yeah, plastic is so very bad, and like this and that. And my dad just asked me a very simple question. He said, okay, I won't bottle in plastic. Find me a material that is easily recyclable or something whose waste can be managed efficiently, because if you are not doing waste management, you can't talk about sustainability. And that kind of sent me down a rabbit hole. They used to call me an armchair activist because I used to constantly have all these suggestions that I would keep throwing at them. And I'd be like, y'all should do this and y'all should do that. And then I actually took the time to educate myself. I started studying about plastics. I realized we use PET, which is the highest recyclable plastic on the planet. We are, in fact, recycling more than what we produce, or at least we always aim to do that. And then slowly, COVID was another point for me that was very crucial because we were an essential business. We were working. Our household was not just sitting wondering what's happening during COVID. The plant was on. The people who actually needed water during COVID were the hospitals, you had these migrant camps, you had police officers, doctors, everyone who was on call, everyone needed water. And I saw Dad and Sheroy be in this overdrive and trying to make sure everyone had access to Aava. And I'm like, how does it matter today if they get an Aava or they get a Bisleri? What's the difference? And my dad's like, our water is natural mineral water. It's naturally alkaline. It's got bioavailable minerals that aid recovery. A packaged drinking RO purified water does not have that. So it is our duty then to kind of make sure people have access to clean, safe, healthy drinking water that aids their COVID recovery. And that is when like something went off for me. And I think it gave me tremendous purpose in life. So that's when I realized that I am sitting and working with a family that has access to a resource, which is very, very rare. What we do is at the end of the day, try to make sure as many people can have access to good drinking water. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing, especially because I was working in fashion. It's the most polluting industry on the planet. There's no comparison. So I think that's when I kind of made the full transition. My journey was very different. I think both of them inspired me by just simply how hard they work. I don't know what your reasons for choosing a career are right now. When I was 21 and 22, all I wanted to do was get a good job, get a good salary, have my own space to live and live a good life. But today I have a purpose. I have a family that I live and work with that fuels this purpose every day. So I would just say, don't ever be scared to change your mind and never say never, because you might just move back home 15 years later and you might have a different perspective on life.
That's greatly said, actually. Sir, I would just want to know, I mean, just like Sheroy mentioned that, I moved in, I walked out of university and you were very welcoming to have him on board. But when he actually came in and tried to, learn the trick of the trade kind of a thing, how easy was it to encompass your next generation into the business? Or rather, what were the challenges that you saw that, the next generation thinks very differently? So how did you see that?
Actually, I welcomed him back because I always thought that he will be helpful to me. And his reasoning was good that they are teaching advertising while I want to be a businessman or an industrialist or want to do education in that, which he did finally with IIM Ahmedabad. So I remember he had called up at 8:30 in the morning, and so I first of all I had no regrets that he's coming back, and knowing one thing was very clear in my mind: there are not enough jobs in the world for everyone. So ultimately, everybody has to also strive to make their own business. That is the ethos of Gujarat and Gujarati people and uh, the entire country, I think. Small rekdi wala to dukan wala to galla wala to industrialist, everybody. Finally, there are not enough jobs in India. So he would have been perhaps happier doing a 9 to 5 job or 9 to 10, 7 job. But uh, ultimately, job is a job and your own business is your own business because you're your own master. It takes up a lot of guts. It sucks up your gut to do everything, meaning you have to be dealing in 10 different buckets a day. In an hour sometimes, 10 different things. You have to manage the finance, you have to manage the production, you have to manage the logistics, because Sheroy will explain that later. We have a unique logistics system also. We have to manage the money, we have to manage the quality, the innovations. You have to also work on beautiful designs. You have to be on top of your top of your job in every which way. And these are 10, 15, 20 things a day which you have to continuously switch jobs. So I welcomed him because he was an helping hand. So there was never any difficulty about that. The other thing which helped us a lot was that we live in the factory area, or rather factory and home is next to each other. So it was a welcome addition. He was a welcome addition. So we welcomed him, and finally we knew that he'll finally do management MBA somewhere. And he was clever enough to get into IIM Ahmedabad. And rest, I think, after his IIM, once he got married, he really focused on his business and on Aava. And we have done, that decision has come as a great boon to Aava.
Okay. Sheroy, how does a typical day for you look like? Because I'm sure you have a lot on your plate.
So I am right now in that phase where I run the operation. So I'm the chief executive officer, right? So you have to do everything. So the routine is that in the morning, I get a call from all my depots and my transport teams that, we are going to ship out so much material today. It's more like a good morning call where everybody is just, I'm like, today is a difficult day, sort of like saying that Sheroy bhai, don't give any VIP deliveries today. Don't, burden us today, stuff like that. But since we manage nearly 200 to 300 deliveries a day, it's very important for me to just get a lowdown of how things start. And logistic happens at fixed hours in the morning half of the day across India. So you have to, so I start normally with that. Then every day it's my routine that my one of the very senior people in my plant, they call me up at 8:45 and He's an ex-army man, and he's been calling me up from the last 10 years that this things are done, and I've started the plant. It started in routine. This was the brief. So it's like my plant MIS on a phone call, which I get in the morning. If there's some difficulty, then they just inform me, and they, ensure that things are working better, or if I have to get involved in any way, then they let me know what time, when I need to be there. After that, the day slowly begins. You start reading the news, so all of this happens before that. You start reading the news, you reply to your WhatsApps, you check your emails, and uh, I mean, then you get into when you reach office, you just get into your routine work of managing the financials. You talk to your sales teams, and I think being an entrepreneur is, once you see, you have to hire people to do their jobs, and to play their role in your organization, because you cannot do everything by yourself. And the quicker you learn that, the better. You have to be very careful choosing what role is played by whom, and choosing the responsibilities that you hand over to someone, because uh, you should be prudent, and you should hand over only responsibilities which you truly believe you can trust someone with. But once that is done, then it is important to monitor them, and it is very, very, very important to delegate in a proper disciplined manner. Otherwise, just imagine, we are not such a large business, but we ship around 300 tons of cargo a day. Now, to manage 300 tons of cargo is not one person's job. I have to hire 200 people to run that entire show, because I have to deliver to more than 500 pin codes of India throughout the year, and we are dealing with huge amount of volume. But it all happens. There are complaints also. There are difficulties also. But at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, your job is to ensure that everyone is able to complete their day of work. Whether your day ends or not, I don't think is important, because you have all the time in the world. Like, I can come to Ahmedabad University and speak to you for a couple of hours, and that will give me peace of mind and more enjoyment, something that probably a job may not have ever given me, even an opportunity to come on a stage like this. And I think that the day just, there is, I have a concept where I don't have any difficulty. I don't take weekends or Sundays or Saturdays or Mondays. For me, they are all the same. Whether it's a Sunday or a Saturday, as an entrepreneur, you get up in the morning and you want to have something to do related to your business. Otherwise, even if you go outside and you're taking a break, it's your own thing. How can you take a break from something that is your own? So, yes, the day is packed. 10 to 12 hours of the day are related to operations. I spend very less time in doing good things like strategy, which Behramji now has more time for because of me. But I guess that everything comes with its own time and place and level of confidence that you have in your team. It takes time to build a good team, and I think as the team will build and the story will grow and the brand will grow, we will also have to find new avenues to get good human assets, human capital in our firm. So I'll have to spend more time to build a new business model or some new products. And I think slowly, slowly, that's how it is. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will Aava be built in a day. But it's a packed day, and it's more operation related, but you have to be at it.
Avanti, I would like you to, just probably tell the students of what is this skill called water sommelier, because it's a very rare thing and it's not like everybody would know about it. You have the, title of being the youngest in the country.
So again, even 5 years ago, I didn't know what a water sommelier was. I didn't care much about it. It's just that, so my first project for Aava was the glass bottles. Because I was from a branding and advertising background, I kind of helped design them. We have an in-house team that we worked with, an illustrator, another designer. When we put out the glass bottle, that's when it was a huge shift for Aava also, because by that time, people were not looking at plastic as premium, but glass as premium, right? So Aava was anyway a premium water brand, but now with the glass bottles, it was kind of going one step ahead. And we were one of the first movers in the natural mineral water segment in the glass bottles to kind of give it at the rate and consistency that we do. So we started getting volume. But again, there, while I have never had a formal education in water, all my education comes from my dad, my brother, being at the plant every day. And at the same time, I didn't want to become an engineer or like kind of go into sciences. And I thought that would be a waste of my time because my skill set is completely different. That's when I started realizing that just like you have wine sommeliers, people who taste wine and can tell you what region it comes from, and the region that wine comes from will impact its taste. It's the same logic with water. Natural mineral water like Aava that comes from a protected natural source. Now, whether it comes from a glacier or an iceberg or rain or mist or the ground, it's all going to taste different. That's so basically what a water sommelier does is an expert in tasting water. I probably, if you put 5 brands in front of me, I probably can't tell you exactly what brand is what, but I can tell you something is a purified water versus something is a natural mineral water. And I can definitely spot Aava within that for you. And then when I started I became a water sommelier, I got certified. I went to Greece last year. There's a water summit that happens there where natural mineral water brands, like hundreds of them from across the globe, come together. There's a competition, there's a tasting, there's a dinner. You have other sommeliers as well. It was really, really heartening to realize that a lot of natural mineral waters, be it in Ecuador, be it Peru, in small European villages, are actually family-run businesses. And you know why? Because within water sommeliers, we use this term called small water farmer. That means that because you produce water, you are very attached to the land. You will ensure you do everything to protect the land, to be as sustainable as possible, because you actually don't just bottle water and sell it. It's everything to you. So you will do everything to protect it. So water sommelier is also somebody who advocates for sustainable practices, ecosystem management. We have only 1.2% fresh water on the planet, majority of which is in ice caps. So whatever little fresh water that we have access to, what are we using it for? Are we using it for health, hydration, agriculture, because agriculture takes up a lot of fresh water? Or then are we going to use it in industrial practices to make t-shirts? Because everything uses water. There's no industry on the planet that does not use water. So as a water sommelier, I both taste and talk about waters in a fine dining setup. You can also, by the way, have a water tasting. We don't have that variety in India, but across the world, you have different varieties in natural waters, from like sweet to salty to bitter. And if you don't drink alcohol, you can actually have a water and a food tasting, and you can get a similar experience from it apart from getting drunk off of it. But you do have a similar taste profile in waters as well. So I do that. But because with Aava, I get the opportunity to work with my dad a lot on ecosystem conservation, water conservation, all of these aspects. That's something that I focus on, how to draw value to water.
Lovely. Okay. In these, almost 20 years of existence of Aava as a company, I'm sure there would have been, good days and bad days. Could you talk about 1 or 2 such obstacles that the company faced and could overcome effectively? Anybody?
Certainly. I will like to say that the first 7 years were dreamlike and very smooth. And I would like to deal with the last 14 years when Sheroy and Avanti entered the business. and give you a glimpse of the issues at large. So first thing that happened to us was that we live in a isolated village type atmosphere where the only road that leads to our factory and home is an army road. So army is the army. So one day, and we have to deliver at least 20, 30, 40 trucks a day. So the road is like a lifeline, like an artery. So they suddenly shut down the road. And we had to divert our vehicles to our home, maybe a small vehicle, then make them into large vehicles. And it was a great challenge, which we had to overcome over a period of 12 years. So it is a life-threatening experience. So because whatever you strive for, it's just shut down in one day. The other life-threatening experience is always with the environment, because the way our development is going on, because it's a natural source, it needs a lot of environmental conservation. So apart from buying all the lands around our place, not for profiteering, but to just keep them as a protective barrier for the brand, for the source of water. That was one of the largest challenges we have seen. And there you are up against the authorities also, because they are doing the development. You are up against the authorities, not only in terms of environment, in terms of town planning, development plan, and you are looked upon as anti-development, because all you are trying to do is to protect your water source. And all they want to do is to develop it fast, so that they are also right, that people get the amenities. So that is one big challenge which we continuously face, and we have to maneuver around it, because ultimately you cannot go to war with the government, because they only win. So you have to finally convince them, finally maneuver around it. And the third largest challenge which we faced in the last 10 years is fly-by-night operators. Aava is a natural mineral water certified by BIS, ISI, and FSSI, which is the enforcement body. The standards are made by the Bureau of Indian Standards, and the enforcement is done by FSSI. Baby foods and water have mandatory ISI and BIS, that's ISI's body license, plus the FSSI license. And these fly-by-night operators go online, get an FSSI license, and without any factory, without any quality, without any laboratory, without any personnel, without any standard testing instructions, they bring out competing brands against us. So this was just, I'm giving you a glimpse of only three. A million things happen. Million things happen in small businesses, especially, where you have to attend to everything. Now, if we had the critical mass of thousands of crores of turnover, then perhaps we could employ people who would be doing all this. One only legal, one only environment, one or many for departments. So these were three challenges which really shook us up. But ultimately, merit always prevails. Quality always prevails. Great service always prevails. And the power of the brand is also such that finally people listen to you. Okay? When in the town planning, I explained, you can't run a road over my water source. It is the... So they understood, okay, yes, water source cannot be disrupted. But it takes a long while. It takes a great pain, lot of stress, lot of litigation. And to protect the environment, because you know pollution is so rampant now. Climate change, the world has had the hottest 8 months in the history of the world, and the hottest January, the hottest February, and the hottest March. And I can see degradation of the environment all around us, all around. Your campus is a beautiful exception, but degradation of the campuses of the world around us. And to protect this water source, you have to create further. Suppose take out 1,000 trees, we have to put 2,000 trees. And we have to find a buffer. We have to create a buffer as per our common sense and intellect so that the water source does not get affected. And we have to ensure that the pollutants are not there. God has been kind, good type of support from the courts, good type of support from good officers also. And finally, we prevail. But it's a very stressful environment. So it's not me, like if this effort I put in my land business, we would make at least 100 times more money than Aava does. But then Aava gives us respect uh, and recognition, which I doubt any business would give. A brand is like to build a brand is like creating, looking after a child and taking it to uh, its true trajectory and becoming that child of yours becomes a world beater of sorts. In the last few months, getting those contracts, the most important thing, finally, contracts. Getting, like last few months, we got the Adani airports, we got PVR, we got TFS, or TFS, nahi, TCS also. Then we got lot of good contracts we got. They are also a big challenge because everywhere lobbying goes on, everywhere different types of politics goes on. So these are the challenges which we normally face through the day.
Okay, I mean, I have many more questions, but I'll just ask one last question and then we'll open it for the students to kind of, for their Q&A. Two values that anybody should have to be able to join their family business. They should cultivate it to be able to learn and then probably succeed into their family business.
So the main one, which is the most difficult one, which you only get with experience, is that I'll give you a small example. So I have a colleague called Burgess. He's my father's personal legal assistant, and they look after, they're a team of two people who are always together. So Burgess has a great quality. He is the only person in the world who I know who calls every single employee in my company, every single person, sir. It doesn't matter if it's the gatekeeper or the peon or the driver or the helper, sir. I think humility and being grounded and not taking your position for granted simply because you're the owner's son or the daughter or their nephew or niece is the single most important thing in your, I mean, in your family business. If you respect your employees, if you show them uh, humility, if you're normal human being in front of them, give them the basics that you should give anybody who is in your workplace. Consider everyone equal. And that is the most important learning that you get, because ultimately, as your organization grows, you will realize that you are not responsible just for your family. You are responsible for every single employee's family member, and they look up to you for all these things. But to get that kind of trust, you have to be very humble. You have to not have a chip on your shoulder. Even if you're the most educated person in the room, a person with more experience in your family business will always be more valuable to the company than you are. And it is better to understand this before you join your business than later. Today, our worlds are very open in, we have a lot of information. I had a mobile phone when I was in 11th standard. You guys probably had it when you were in 6th or 5th standard. Kids in the next generation will grow up with these phones, take them to school. I think that We are very disconnected from our reality. We are privileged to sit in air-conditioned auditoriums and have staff which works for us. They live different lives, and simply a good word, a pat on the back, and showing some respect to them goes a long way in building your organization.
I think one more thing I would like to add to this is consistency. Um, I initially, when I joined Aava, because I was looking at branding, digital media, and all of that, I didn't need to sit at the plant. It was Sheroy actually who used to push me every single day and just be like, just show up at the plant. So automatically, when I started showing up, because also when you come from outside, right? Like, because he's been a part of the family business for the last 11 years. When I came in with all of these ideas of what a business should be like, 100 different things that needed to be implemented. We were far from perfect. But my biggest advice to anybody joining their family business is be patient, because like he said, Rome wasn't built in a day. But again, if your family business has survived generations, there's a reason it survived. First, try spending time figuring it out, how it runs, before you come in with guns blazing and you're like, change this and change that. And consistency. Like now it's been since COVID, so it's almost 5 years that I've been working with Aava. I go to work every day. I used to be the kind of person who's used to be like, I will never work on the weekends. Now I go to work on a Sunday or a Saturday as well. So give yourself that. And initially, when I joined the business, it all seemed impossible. Like, we just launched our glass bottles. How will this do? How will that do? Now we have sparkling water. We're working on new products. So things happen in due course of time. Be patient, but be consistent. Even like a little every day really, really goes a long way.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will actually now open it to the audience if you have questions. Wow. You have to give them mic. With the mic. Yeah. Would you need these?
Just
Right.
You can have it so for the answer to the question.
Yeah. We'll start from the first row here. Laksh. There's a kid here.
So we have here, there. Hi. So one question. So your name is Avantika. So if Aava inspired from your name, I've been thinking about this from the beginning.
So everyone thinks my dad named Aava after me, and while it's very flattering to think of that, Aava actually is the angel of water for Zoroastrians and Parsis. We're Parsis, so we worship nature and its elements. So Aava happens to be the angel, the guardian angel of water that protects water. So that's why Aava is called Aava, but it's, my friends call me Aava, they don't call me Avanti, so it's kind of one and the same now.
Yeah. Like one more question. So knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would have done differently from when you first started?
Nothing, because working outside also gave me a different kind of experience that I utilize in Aava now. I think it is very healthy to work a job. It humbles you like nothing else. When you have to report to an office to a boss who is not your father and is not going to give you a concession that day just because you showed up, also cultivates a different kind of discipline in you. So I, in fact, would healthily encourage anyone who wants to even eventually join their family business, please work outside for a year or two. It's a good thing to carry with you into your family business.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Tanmay Jain and I am pursuing IMBA. I would like to ask from Behram, sir, that how challenging it was or how easy it was for you to shift to another field. As you mentioned that you had granite business earlier. So was it hard for you to convince your father to shift to another business or I want to do something else?
You mean to say I had to convince my dad
Not
or
not
the
only,
family?
not only convincing, sir. Sir, I mean,
Ah,
not
ah,
only, not only convincing,
so,
but
eh,
also as you didn't have any experience or anything, much information about this business. So how did you convert to this business?
my answer will be a little unprofessional, but it's the truth. First of all, I believed in my destiny. Second, I believe in astrology. And and the hardest part was to accept that my granite business is not going anywhere, or I'm not. I always wanted to be in the top one or two companies of whatever work I do. In granite, there were so many companies who were doing what I was doing, and there was a lot of what do you say, competition, and we were not reaching the top. I remember, if I may be no, I'm right. I remember Ratan Tata telling his Tata group that we'll be only in businesses where we'll be in the first two. We will not do any other business. So that also influenced me. Secondly, also, I'm practical. I knew that granite is not going anywhere. Means the competition was enormous. And I'm extremely lucky with land and the resource within the land. And I get guided by my destiny and my predictions of my future. So it was, I didn't know anything about my business, but there was an officer in BIS, ISI. So when I went there to meet him, he said, you don't have to worry about anything. He was very strict, very up. He said, you follow this standard. So this may be a helpful education. So the BIS and the ISI have a standard of natural mineral water from where it says how the water comes, where it comes from, what the walls will be, what the flooring will be. Everything is in the standard, how the test will take place. He said, you remember this standard, follow it thoroughly, and the license will come automatically. So along the way we learned. And like I said, it's an unconventional answer, but a lot of things put together and my ability to be a serial entrepreneur also helped. And of course, destiny and great blessings of people who inaugurated the place, my mother, father, my parents, all that put together helped me in my learning to drive Aava to the top.
I would also like to add there that my father started Aava when he was 45. That is not the age that most people decide to start a new business. So if you're ever feeling, this is something that I kind of look at, if you ever feel out of sorts, you feel like you've not found your passion, he started his whole business at 45. So anything's possible.
Thank you.
My question is directed to Sheroy sir and Avanti ma'am. So I as well hail from a family business, and my dad just advocates this all the time, that leadership is just merely beyond intelligence, but it's majorly about how well do you know how to work collaboratively with people around you. So I noticed similar changes in my household. And one question that just keeps on popping to my mind is that tomorrow, when you enter an organization which has employees who've been working with you for, say, 10 years, 12 years, who are perhaps gain much more experience than you have, are well educated, how do you find a place for yourself amidst that crowd when you want to work your way to the top, when you want to know, like, um, at a point where you're joining the business, it is important for you to understand ground zero and ground 100. It's very important. So how do you find a place for yourself amidst that, like, apart from just merely being looked at as the owner's son or the owner's daughter?
You start the day the earliest and you end it last, I guess. No, I mean, I'm damn serious. Every day you have to turn up and you have to be the person who works the hardest. Because if the employees and your team see that this person is putting in 150% effort, despite having all of us, despite having everything at their disposal, then that motivates them. And it's not about entering your office earlier than everyone, but it's about ensuring that the person who comes in knows that boss is there. The people around you have to feel comfortable around you. For that, you need to be around them. For example, if you have a very senior person, the first thing that you should do is get to know them. You need to know about them. You need to know about their family. You need to be ready to help them whenever they ask you for their help, because you're their colleague too, along with being their boss, along with being the owner's child. And I guess presence, physically working with people, and as Avanti said, working consistently, showing up is one of the most important. And I think it's the only way to assimilate yourself in your own business. Otherwise, it is very easy for the employee who has been with your parent, father or mother for 20 years to not portray you in the correct way, and it can cause really serious interpersonal difficulties in family businesses. And I was talking to Professor Saab right now before we came in, and he said a very important thing, that there are many business families which let the business go for the family to stay together. And in India, you see many families which are separated, but the promoter holds on to the business. So you have to understand that I personally know that my family is most important for me. So to assimilate myself in my own business, I had to work really hard. From 2011 to 2017 till I completed my MBA or till I went to IM, I used to work 14, 15 hours a day. I used to go with my employees. I used to literally sit with them in production. I learned about every single organization. And I today it benefits me because out of my 350 people, I have employed more than 200 of them personally. I know all of them. I know their names. I know where they stay. I have a personal touch with them. I may not have the same amount of time I could dedicate earlier, but the fact that now I have been there for 11 years and they respect who I am, they understand what value I bring to the table, and they genuinely come to me when they have difficulties. I think that you can never be a boss from the first day, and you'll never be one in the end, because when the real boss walks in, everybody changes their tune. And it's good. I mean, it's a very healthy thing because they have started the organization. But the most important thing is working the hardest, showing up every day, and doing it without taking a break, without showing your privilege, and accepting the fact that you are coming or having a silver or golden spoon in your mouth doesn't take away the fact that you have to work as hard as your employees.
I think I'll just answer this from a different perspective, and that being female, because I think for a lot of men, joining your family business is a rite of passage. It's something that is a no-brainer. But for women, especially, when I joined my family business, I didn't have a peer group around me of females in family businesses that I could kind of turn to. So there, I think the two things that help me break ice with my employees, who essentially see me as baby. That's how they address me, because I'm the baby of the family, I'm the baby of the house. Is one, we're all on the same team. We all want Aava to thrive. We all want Aava to grow. And that is the end goal for all of us. And when they saw that passion in me, they automatically started respecting me for it. And secondly, I think initially it's a bit harder as a woman in a family business to be taken seriously, because you kind of need to make people realize that I'm not doing this just to kill time. I'm not going to do this part-time till I just get married. This is my passion too. This is something that I want to do. So I think both of those things there play a big role as well.
Taking the interest of time, we'll only be taking two more questions right now. We have one there and one, the second one here.
Yeah, so my question is, you three have huge age gap. So how do you come to one decision? Like, for example, you thought of launching the glass bottles. So how do you convince, or you all have different perspectives? So one might see a 6 from here and one might have a 9 from there. So how do you conclude to some things, or like manage all the things, all of three?
So my glass bottles is a good example because I sat on it for 2 years and I had everything ready, but I just didn't, because we kept arguing amongst ourselves as to whether Aava should come on one side of the label or two sides, whether this flower or that flower. So I say my MBA is sitting at work every day and arguing with my dad and brother. That is my form of an MBA that I'm getting.
Think dad says his mantra is timing is everything. So you can sit on something for only as long as you can sit on it. But in 2020 November, it was a tough period. COVID just starting. Hotels have renovated, they are opening up. Airlines are starting again. Business was very dull. Employees are also having rust. You need to, basically, the engine had to be started again. And at that time, you realize that you can't sit on everything. You have to get a move on. So I think that uh, decisions are relatively, I mean, in any family business where I consider myself, my father and Avanti as very strong-minded entrepreneurs. We are very vocal and strong about our opinions, especially with each other. But the one thing that puts us on the same page is we all are totally all about Aava brand. We all care for it as much, and time will only allow you so much luxury. After a point of time, you have to move on. So, like Avanti, and one nice example is our sparkling water range, where they were debating on the taste. And I had a friend from IIM Ahmedabad who was very fortunately working in Coca-Cola at that time. And simply called him up. I told him, "Bhai, I need your help and I'm facing this difficulty with my taste." He gave me the number of his supplier of carbon dioxide, solved the problem in my opinion, and I listed the product on Amazon, and then I told them that I have started. So, I mean, neither of them had a problem because at that point of time, the problem was the taste. I solved the difficulty and I moved on. So, some decisions you can take, some decisions I believe now after 11 or 13 years of working with my father that there is some merit in delay also in some things, because it's not necessary to take every single decision that comes your way immediately. Sometimes good to sit on things, but to be truthful, this is a topic which is never ending. I mean, who will agree with his father, or which father will agree with his child? He started the brand, I'm going to take it forward. It's a tough negotiation always. And in the end, I think seniority and respect for your elder has to be there in any business or in any form of life to maintain, I believe, the order of nature or society. So that's how we end our discussions, and we have a nice term. We say we agree to disagree. That's how it ends.
But there is a business like solution to this also, because we have extreme views in everything, extreme. So departmentalizing things also helps. Meaning, okay, suppose I'm doing the legal stuff, then I look after it, I take the final decision. Suppose he's doing the production and logistics and the operations, he has the final authority there. Design and social media and everything is totally Avanti's forte. So there is luckily, so no, what advice I would give, compartmentalize it, give authority to, and this has happened in all business families of Gujarat at least. Okay, even if I go to a friend and say, "Okay, I want this favor from you," he'll say, but I don't look after it. My cousin looks after it. So one is compartmentalize, and as an uh, promoter, all we can do is mentor, teach, and let go. That's the only way forward. Otherwise, there will be no time, personal time for me also, even at 63 years. So these two things you can do. One is compartmentalize, departmentalize, and make somebody responsible of or the boss, decision authority. Second is to, as an elder, all we can do is teach, mentor, show the benefits, and then let go and leave it to destiny.
Good afternoon. I am Mehta. So I have a question that how does Aava effectively compete and survive in the market with numerous competitors? It's its inception.
Very good question. That is how I've earned and Sheroy will elaborate. But how we have done it is, first of all, the license is for natural mineral water, and the product is the most superior. So there are 500 licenses in Gujarat only, but all are packaged drinking waters, RO waters, purified waters, chemically purified waters. So you are already up there with a license and a product which is superior. And second is, okay, my son will explain how we punch above our weight.
So if you guys didn't notice, so as a water guy, I have a habit of seeing every person's bottle. There's a lady there who had a wine bottle in her purse. She took it out, the one in the blue. Yeah, I saw that when you're drinking. So I see all these bottles, and if you didn't notice, when I got a box of my Aava 250 ml glass bottles, and we got the bottles replaced. So what Behramji did, what other water entrepreneurs learned over the years, or what he did the most basic thing. He placed Aava at every single important location that he could do simply by using his connect. So if there was a talk happening at AMA, Aava was over there. If there was an important social function, Aava was over there. If there was an important political rally, Aava was over there. If there was an important academic event, Aava was over there. It was in the hand of the right people at the right time. Even today, I see my father micromanaging such things with my team. Earlier, he had not got such a large team, he would do it himself. But the whole point is that placement and use, you see, this is called guerrilla warfare. There is one side Coca-Cola with billions of dollars coming in from Atlanta, and they can spend money and they can get whoever they want. And on the other hand, it is Aava. Now, we don't have that kind of money. When he started out, he had no money. He had taken a loan. So he convinced Mudra, which was one of the most premier ad agencies at that time, and used his connect there also. And he made sure that one of the best agencies in India launched the Aava story, built the Aava brand. So he never cut any corners. He used all of his assets at his disposal and built the brand. After that, it was about sustaining it. So what he did was he caught a niche. He said, I may not be able to crack it in retail because India is not ready for expensive premium water in retail shops as of now. They want to buy a cheap bottle because people don't value water as much. I'll be present in the places where it's important. So airlines, airports, hotels, restaurants, very premium locations. And so what happens is that you have to choose. I think very important decision there was, which may have helped him along the way, was my mom, because he thought that he will sell Aava in railways. My mother said, I don't Behram, I don't trust a product sold on the railways at that time. This I'm talking about 2005, 2007, when we didn't have rail near, and basic drinking water also was a very big thing in railways. And I think, she said that I would not trust a product which is sold here. So there are very important small things which you have to do as an entrepreneur. As I said, that I have never seen him miss a single opportunity to speak about Aava ever. I sometimes feel like, "Arey yaar, mat baat karo, dad," but he'll never miss that opportunity to speak about Aava brand. And I think that as an entrepreneur, that's the only thing you can do to fight. You have to you have to wear it on your sleeve. You are the owner of Aava, and that's how you operate. And that if you do it like that, your employees work like that, and then the whole organization only starts to thrive. Now today, I mean, we've come full circle, which you'll know very soon. But the whole point is that it is very important as a smaller brand when you're competing with giants to know where you stand. Once you've picked your niche, you keep plugging away at it. You will also grow. Take opportunity of very, very drastic events like COVID. My father kept telling me to invest. One of the biggest regrets of my life. I will await an opportunity like that. I'm sure even the very poor state of, affairs, the way that ecology is turning, maybe there will be an opportunity like that one day when I will also have to tell my children that, take this opportunity when it comes. And this is the place to be. And now with so many smaller food brands coming in, so many venture capitalists in, I think it's going to be very easy for brands to compete now. I mean, with online, now with D2C, and you can